Gotta love sports.
Welcome to The Playbook, where we're talking sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat, and we're 100% digital, 100% live, and 100% real. Let's count them down. Welcome to The Playbook. It's our digital sports show. Another Monday. We do this every Monday at around 1:45. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat. I want to bring in my guy, Terrell Thomas from These Urban Times. He's a senior sports and entertainment editor. He joins me every other week, God willing. I haven't seen you in forever because I went to Greece and then you were traveling and AB joined us last week. And I feel like it's been a month and I haven't seen you. What's been going on?
It's been a minute. It's great to see you. There's a lot going on in our world of sports and entertainment. But yes, indeed, we've both been busybodies as of recently. So it's great to sit down and talk with you today.
When I don't talk to you and Sean, I get like this itch when stuff happens where I'm like, oh, I wish I could talk to my guys, like, and then I end up talking about it with my cousins who are like sports fanatics, like my one cousin texted me this weekend, like, oh, Maxie and James Harden gave the Raptors a little Easter bunny, like little things like that. Because I text my cousin, I'm like, hey, I gave your daughter an Easter bunny chocolate. And then he was like, yeah, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey gave the Raptors a little Easter bunny chocolate too. And I was like, what? So, I end up talking with them, but I always miss you guys. So it's nice to see you. That's the long version of me saying I missed you.
I missed you as well. It's great to be here. Great to be here.
Let's hop into Philly plays. This is where we talk about the top plays going on in Philly takes. Our Sixers, big news. We are in full playoff state of mind. Our Sixers won the first game. It was a home game against the Raptors in this NBA playoff series. 131-111 was the final score. My observations from this game is everyone came to play. And I was excited. Tyrese Maxey, 38 points, Tobias Harris, 26. Tobias has been one of those people who are very inconsistent from us. So going into this playoffs, we really are demanding a lot from Tobias. James Harden, 22 points. Joel Embiid, 19 points. I know some people thought Joel was going to score a little bit more. However, it's nice to see the rest of the team getting the points in because this means we're playing team basketball as opposed to Joel is the only one that scores basketball, which you're not going to win a championship if your star is the only one scoring. This is a playoff level. You kick it up a notch. Everybody needs to contribute and everybody needs to score. What were your notes on this game, Terrell?
Oh, I was so impressed with the Sixers. It was wonderful, first and foremost, to see the atmosphere kick off with Meek Mill ringing the bell. And for some strange reason, I don't know why, some of our fellow NBA and sports insiders believe that the Raptors are going to win this series. And I do believe that the Sixers got wind of that and they've seen that. And they came out with that Rocky punch, or I'll even say Creed. They looked a little bit more like Creed in this instance. I was so impressed. As how you mentioned. We know what Joel Embiid is going to do. I'm confident in James Harden's game, although some have been questioning if he's going to show up recently. But Maxey and Tobias Harris, like that one, he was the X factor. Maxey, we know about his potential. We've spoken several times about the potential of him being an all-star down the road. But Tobias Harris has been that kind of that iffy X factor to where if he's on, the Sixers can win a championship, but we could be dancing on broadsheet. And when he's off, then, it does give another team a chance. So I was just impressed with Doc Rivers and how he did put the rotations, getting Paul Reed minutes and that matchup with him and Nick Nurse as far as Doc Rivers is concerned. So I was just highly impressed with the Sixers overall. And I'm hoping they carry that same energy in the game too.
I will say Shaq had us sweeping the Raptors, but there has been some conversation about how good Toronto has been as of late. And that's really where the nervousness comes in of, this team. They have sneaky players, they have moments. And I think the last time we played them, we left Siakam open a lot and he was just knocking down the threes, and that's definitely a threat here. But we held him to 24 points in this particular game. So that was good. And then Van Vliet was in foul trouble early in the game. I mean, within, I think, the first 54 seconds, he already had 2 fouls. So everything kind of lined up for us. But again, I like that, to your point, the X factors, Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, Joel was getting doubled all night. That's gonna come all playoffs.
Yep.
You know, and I know I've been watching a lot of like their practice stuff. They've been working around with Joel, like how to get out of those doubles. You know, Joel is going to, James Harden is going to be the second one to be doubled. But you can't double 4 players. There's no way.
Right.
So you could do 1, maybe 2. But if Tobias is a threat and Tyrese is a threat, a scoring threat as well, there's no way any team can double that many players unless you're playing zone, which is not happening right now, right? So, to your point, I really enjoyed watching them play. We look like a championship team. We've been a little iffy lately, and I think they did hear that criticism. Floyd Mayweather was in the building. I mean, it was definitely like a star-studded event. And I was in the building. I was
I was waiting for you to get that. I was living through you. Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
So there was a lot going on. I will say, I've been to a lot of playoffs games. This didn't really feel like a playoff game. I know it was, but the energy inside of the building, I think because we were winning most of the time, I think was very comfortable. I'm waiting to feel like that playoff intensity, maybe because it was just game 1, but I'm waiting to feel that, like, oh wow, it's down to the wire. We're in the playoffs. And I think that we'll get to that point as this season progresses. Now, we mentioned Tyrese Maxey. This guy is such a beast at just 21 years old. Tyrese Maxey, and the plays that he was putting together at that last game makes him now the youngest Sixer ever with a 30-point game in the postseason, right? Incredible. He received a standing ovation. I believe he was going for 40 because they had taken all the starters out but him. And then he just needed 2 more points and he missed it. You could see him like wailing his arms in the air, and Doc kept him in, trying to allow him to get that 40-point feat. It just didn't happen. Took him out. He got a standing ovation. People were chanting his name. I'm sure it felt good for him. Let's watch one of the most amazing plays that I've seen, where I was like, what? Did that just happen? I was about to fall over. I was in the suite. I was about to fall over the little plastic thing that they have for your protection. I was like, what? Let's watch this.
Siakam, they leave him, and he missed the shot. You don't normally see that. Barnes with the hustle, but it's Philly ball. Harden, nice pass to Maxey, reverse layup is good, but what a toss by James Harden.
Watch the bounce and then watch the catch, and you're not going to block my shot. I'm coming up underneath.
I literally fell out my seat. It was not the finish, it was the pass. It was that cross court pass. It was perfect. I was like, wow, if James can play like that consistently and get everybody involved the way that he was, we're a team to beat.
Championship team.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at one of these other stats when it comes to Tyrese, because Tyrese sits in very, very good company. Not only did he break Sixers records, but all around records. He's 21 years old. And look, right there, number 1, scoring what he scored. So just incredible company to be around. Also making history, and people like to drag Doc Rivers, but congratulations to Sixers coach Doc, who made history and moved into the 5th spot of this all-time NBA playoffs coaching wins. Again, people like to throw shade, but the proof is in the pudding. He knows how to win. So let's see if he can win a championship. It's one thing to win regular season games. It's one thing to win playoff games. He's won 99 of them. Let's see if he can bring home that championship that we need at this point. So you were impressed with Doc and the coaching staff.
I was impressed for a change. Okay. As you said, a lot of
for a change, shade.
He had some scrutiny this season, but he impressed me. Certainly impressed me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the NBA awards because that is coming up really fast. We've been having this conversation about the MVP award. Here are the nominations for that. No surprise here: Giannis, Joel, and Nicola. I've heard rumors that apparently the Joker won because voting is closed.
Mm-hmm.
So I've already heard rumors that the Joker won. Which I get it. He's breaking records as well. I feel like there should be a rule though, like if you won it the year before, you can't win it again. Like let someone else win it, And Giannis won the MVP for the playoffs, the championship. So these guys have gotten their MVP accolades. Considering what Joel Embiid has done with his transition between Ben Simmons and also James Harden, and how literally in that weird time in between, he literally put the team on his back, and considering the numbers, him becoming the first center ever to win the scoring title, all the things that he's done as a center, I believe that Joel Embiid deserves this award.
Yeah, I agree. I believe Joel Embiid deserves the award for numerous reasons. But when you look at the other two candidates, and no knock on their game, they are definitely one of the gentlemen are a champion. They're all MVPs. Giannis, as you mentioned, winning his previously, and the Joker as well. I think for the Joker to have won it last year, I think this year he should have had to exceed what he's done previously, and I haven't seen that. He's put up great numbers. The Nuggets have won also without a superstar because we forget that Jamal Murray's not out on the floor. Michael Porter Jr. is not on the floor either. So two great young players. The Joker's missing, but they haven't had the season in which Embiid has had. I honestly I wouldn't understand if Embiid doesn't win it. I've heard different things as well about the Joker possibly taking home the award. But I think this Joel Embiid has shown us time and time again this season that he has been the most valuable player for a franchise, and I hope he's awarded for that.
I agree. And if not, then he has the all-time scoring title. Hopefully we can get an Eastern Conference championship. Right. Because the way that he's been playing, he deserves some accolade. He deserves something in return for the effort and the growth that he's exhibited, is even from the last 2 years to now. Remember when we were talking about him eating junk food and not conditioning and being tired and not being able to run up and down the court? Like, I think he's been put through the ringer, right? And for him to have elevated his game the way that he has in the midst of dealing with a player who doesn't want to contribute to the team, which it's supposed to be your team together in the midst of all these other things going on. He's elevated. You can't say anything about his conditioning at this point. He played even though he had COVID. He's definitely elevated, and he deserves something for that. Amen. Let's look at our bracket now that we've gone through all the first games in each series. This is what we are looking like. The Suns are leading. The Jazz are leading. The Warriors are leading. The Timberwolves are surprisingly leading here, which is
I like them to take that series.
My boyfriend says they look hungrier.
I like them.
And I was like, okay. The Heat, of course, leading. We are leading against the Raptors. The Bucks are leading against the Bulls. And then this Nets and Celtics series. If it's going to be anything like this first game, incredible. Jason Tatum hitting that last minute game shot, that game 2-pointer, and the Nets coming back from a deficit is just incredible NBA playoff basketball. And I can't wait to see, how this all shapes up. Or any surprises with this bracket aside from the Timberwolves?
No, not really. And honestly, like I'm not surprised. I truly believe the Timberwolves have the team that they'll get past the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies still a young team. They don't have that experience. Great regular season, but it gets different in the postseason. But no, from what we see so far, no surprises at all. I was surprised at the lack of defense on that final play, as you mentioned, but Jason Tatum made a phenomenal spin move. Avoided the charge and was able to win that game. Great basketball so far, though. I'm looking forward to see how it continues this evening.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the Phils real quickly because they've been up and down. We had high expectations for this team. It's weird to watch them. They look really good some games, and then other games they're like, okay, what's going on? Are we going to get a run here? So we struggled against the Marlins. We only won 1 out of our 4 matchups against them. And here's how that looked last week. We'll see what the Phils do this week coming up as we head into plays this week. And today they take on the Rockies, and we're playing the Rockies a little bit, and then the Brewers. I know you're gonna go to one of the games. Mm-hmm. What is your reaction based off how our Phils look right now?
Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on the Phillies right now because it's funny. I'm gonna throw this fun fact out there. They started off 4-5 a couple games ago, and the last time through 9 games, and the last time they were 4-5 through 9 games was in 1980 and in 2008, both years in which we won the World Series. Now, I'm not gonna go out there and say our Phillies are gonna do that as of yet, but I think they just still that team. So many new additions to that lineup. With Scherzer and also bringing in Nick. So we just got to see how that shapes out. I've been slightly disappointed in our pitching so far. Hopefully going out to Colorado for these next 3 games and getting out in that hitter's park and that atmosphere will really get things going before they come back to Citizen Bank Park and take on the Brewers this weekend. But I expect our Phils to turn things around this week.
I was thinking the same thing. I think there's a lot of new additions to the team that needs to get worked out. I know they just changed the batting lineup, so they're trying to figure out who goes where, what works where, and then hopefully, they'll work all those kinks out. This new batting lineup, hopefully, that helps as well. And we can get a couple of W's because it would be nice to, our Eagles are kind of rebuilding. Our Sixers are really good, but it would be nice to have another team that we can feel proud of. And we were proud of the Phillies last year. We were like on a winning streak at one point, and then it just went left.
They're coming. They're coming. They're going to get
right.
Them.
Let's look at the other plays this week. We are in the midst of the NBA playoffs, so it's literally a game every day. Let's look at Monday and Tuesday real quickly of the NBA playoffs. There we go. Toronto tonight. Home game. You see Utah. So yeah, I'll probably be in the bed by the Warriors game. I'd be tired. Yesterday I was watching the Heat game and I fell asleep. No, the Bucks game. Sorry.
Okay,
I fell asleep.
That was the early game.
Right. I fell asleep. I was tired. It was Easter. I ate too much. I was gone. On Tuesday, this is what we're looking like. Let's look at Wednesday and Thursday. Man, this Brooklyn and Boston matchup.
Yeah,
so good. Mm-hmm. Wednesday, Thursday, then Friday and Saturday. They're all the games you need to know where you can air them. That's another thing. I'm always like, where do I watch this game? I would need all of them to be in one space. I'm like, okay, ABC, ESPN, TNT. Like I always have to switch back and forth to figure out who's where. Let's particularly look at our Sixers schedule now. So we do take on tonight another home game against the Raptors. Then we head to Toronto. Of course, Matisse Thybulle is not playing in Toronto because of his vaccination status. He does have to be fully vaccinated. He only has 1 of the shots. You do have to be fully vaccinated in order to enter Canada. So he will not be present in that game 3 and game 4 on Wednesday and Saturday. And then we're back home next Monday, hopefully closing this thing out. Hopefully, God willing. What are your expectations for tonight?
I think we're going to get another big performance out of our Sixers tonight. So they go up 2-0 in this series. I'm not quite sure if we'll see a 20-point win, but somewhere around there, 15 to 20 points. The Raptors will already be out. Scotty Barnes, the phenomenal rookie. He's not expected to play this evening, and we don't know yet if Gary Trent Jr. will be out there. He didn't attend shoot-around this morning. He's sick, or he has an illness right now, a non-COVID-related illness, so there's no guarantee if he'll play. It'll pretty much be a game-time decision. So advantage Sixers. They're at home on Monday night. Time for them to go out there and get things going before they do head to Toronto. And I think Doc will keep that rotation right. It looks like he's setting the rotation up so that when they go to Toronto, they're already prepared to be without Thybulle. So
that's
Sixers
exactly
tonight, and I agree. Monday, I think they'll be wrapping it up. think they'll be wrapping it up Monday?
I hope. I don't think they're going to be wrapping it up on Monday. I think we're going to run into a snag when it comes to Toronto, when we're in Toronto. I think that's when they're going to get a little bit of confidence, because you have to think Siakam didn't really score a lot. Van Vliet was in foul trouble. That's not always going to be the case. You know, his shots were not hitting. But that one game, the game that we played before the playoffs, Siakam was lighting them up. It was water. So it's like it's like you could literally, this man could just throw it up and it was going up. So I think we're going to have a situation where they're going to go off.
Okay.
And I see them stealing a game. Hopefully just one.
I see that only game. I'll get them game 3. I'll get them their first game back in Canada. I think the Sixers will adjust for game 4, and then a rowdy crowd. I know you'll be in the building that Monday.
Oh, yes.
And
I'm not going to be there tonight because I'm tired. but next Monday, I am there. Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add, T?
No, I'm excited once again to be back. It's great to be back. It's great to see where we are right now in sports. NFL draft next week, so just everything is going on. NHL, the playoffs are right around the corner. Sadly, our Flyers won't be there, but playoffs right around the corner, and things are looking promising right now for our Sixers and Phillies. So great time to be a Philadelphia fan or a sports fan in general. It's great time to be a fan of sports.
What a time to be alive.
Exactly.
That is the Playbook, Terrell Thomas. You can find him on social media. How?
Yes, indeed. You can check me out 2 places, These Urban Times as well as theseurbantimes.com. And you can follow me personally at Eldorado2452.
Yes. And you can find me here on the Playbook every Monday, 1:45. Also on social media at Mina SayWhat. Talk to you next week.
Peace.
Thanks for watching The Playbook. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat, and you got something you want to talk about next week? You can always hit me up on social media at Mina SayWhat, and make sure you join us 1:45 next Monday on R&B Phillies Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll see you.